The Arrowverse is officially back now, guys. It has been so long. I mean, it feels like a lot longer than it's actually been. I think it was back in maybe April or May when the shows concluded their seasons. But now the Arrowverse is officially back with the premiere of Batwoman Season 2, which aired last night on the CW. And, this is the only show we have until Black Lightning starts in the beginning of February. And I actually like that because then it gives you some breathing room here to kind of adjust to alright, we're back in the swing of things, watching these shows again. So yeah, Batwoman Season 2, the first episode is called Whatever Happened to Kate Kane. And that's kind of the whole big mystery for this episode, and also the season overall is just what happened to Kate Kane. And we were all wondering, why does Ryan Wilder become the new Batwoman? And, we find out in this episode. And, of course, I'm going to be talking all the spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episode yet, then go away for now until you see the episode, of course. But this episode was really good. This season is actually off to a really good start. Compared to last season, it's way better, which, honestly, I enjoyed Season 1 overall. It's not as bad as most people say, but Season 2 is way better already. I'm already heavily invested into this story. So anyways, guys, let's go ahead and jump right into this episode and break down everything that happened, because we start off this episode with a lot of questions being answered, because we have Ryan Wilder. She is living out in her van, and then all of a sudden, this plane crashes from the sky, and for a second I was like, whoa, what is going on there? Do we got, aliens or some kind of superpowered attack here? Because I was thinking of Supergirl, but no, it was just a plane crash. And it turns out Kate Kane was on that plane. So apparently, Kate, she was in National City, I assume visiting Kara, or Supergirl, and her plane crashed. And then Ryan, of course, she wakes up and she goes out and sees what happened, and she finds the Batwoman suit. And that's basically all we get for an explanation of what happened to Kate Kane, and we're all supposed to assume that, she died because her plane crashed. But I assume that there's probably going to be a reveal that, maybe she just never got on the plane or something, but then at the same time, why would her suit be on there? So I don't know. Are they going to completely write out the character of Kate Kane? Who knows? We'll kind of just have to wait and see if they actually answer those questions, if maybe Ruby Rose comes back for a cameo at the end of the season. So who knows what's going to happen, but this definitely is interesting here. And obviously everybody is super worried about Kate because, they all think she's dead, but they never found a body, so they don't really know exactly what's going on there. But Ryan, she decides to take the suit with her, and she puts on the suit, and then she automatically goes out and starts fighting crime as Batwoman. And at first I was like, really? You're already into this? But they did kind of explain that, she has a history with martial arts, so I guess that explains how she knows how to fight and everything like that. And she did fight this cool criminal with, a clown mask, which, maybe was working for a gang that worked for Joker, but I think Joker's dead in the Arrowverse. We're not completely sure. It's a bit confusing. But because Ryan put on the suit, that suit still has the GPS tracker inside of it. So Luke and Mary are able to track her, and they end up finding her in the sewers, and of course they interrogate her, and they're give us back the suit and everything. But then she tells them why she wants to be Batwoman, and it's because she wants to go out and she wants to find her mother's killer. And later in the episode, we actually find out that Alice and her Wonderland gang are responsible for her mother's death. So she wants revenge on Alice, and that explains why she's mad at Alice and everything. So that is all cool going on there with that stuff. But meanwhile, we also have Bruce Wayne returning to town, but of course, as we know, it's not actually Bruce Wayne, it's Tommy Elliot in disguise, aka Hush. So Luke actually takes him into the Batcave and everything, so everybody is believing him. And Bruce is reuniting with all the different people, Julia Pennyworth, Mary, all these different people. But then Julia, she actually automatically figures it out. And I'm glad that somebody figured it out, because he was very suspicious, and she is a spy, so it makes sense that she figured it out. So now they know that this is not Bruce Wayne, this is actually Tommy. And I was thinking this would be like a season-long storyline because that's what they were setting it up to be, but no, they just ended it off in this episode, which was pretty crazy. So then after they figure out that that is actually Tommy, Tommy goes in now that into the Batcave. Now that his cover's been blown, he starts destroying stuff, and he's looking for the Batmobile. And this is the debut of the Arrowverse Batmobile, which doesn't really look like the Batmobile. It's kind of just a car with like the Bat logo on it. So I mean, it's all right. We're on an Arrowverse budget. I get it at this point. So he drives off in the Batmobile, and then he starts chasing Ryan actually in her van to try and get the suit because he wants the suit back. And then, you know, we get this big, huge chase scene here and a huge battle and fight here as Ryan then suits up in the Batwoman suit and Tommy shoots her with the kryptonite, but somehow she's all right even though we thought that the kryptonite was supposed to kill them and penetrate the bat suit, but who knows. But then Ryan is able to get the upper hand and basically beats the Bruce Wayne face off of Tommy. And the way he looked kind of reminded me of Jerome from Gotham, which I love that show and I love Jerome, so that was awesome to see there. But that was the last time we saw Tommy, and you know, he didn't look too lively, so I'm not completely sure, like, is Tommy alive, or did Ryan literally just beat him to death and kill him? So, at least as far as I'm aware, they didn't explain that, but it looks like maybe he's dead. So, that's where it leaves off there with that part. We do have, of course, Mary and Luke trying to figure out, like, what do they do about this? Because Ryan did do a good job filling the shoes of Kate as Batwoman, so they got to figure out, like, should she be the new Batwoman taking the place of Kate? But then throughout this episode, we also have a few other things going on here as well. Like, Alice actually revealed to Jacob Kane that Kate was Batwoman, and at first he doesn't believe it, but then he turns on the bat signal, and then he realizes, like, oh my god, it's true. My last moments with my daughter was literally shooting her. So that's probably not making him feel too great there in the moment. But then also another big part of this episode that was kind of small, but we had Julia. She reveals that Kate told her that if anything ever happened to her, she wanted Julia to open up her safe. And we find out at the end of the episode that in this safe is a letter for Sophie. And in this letter, Kate actually reveals to Sophie not only that she is Batwoman, which Sophie probably would have figured out at some point, but also that actually she is still in love with her and everything. And we all knew this, and throughout this episode, Julia was like, are you still in love with her? So we could see that was where things were going in season 1, but now that Kate's gone, what's going to happen with that? Like, is Sophie going to end up with Ryan? Like, is that what's going to happen? So I really have no idea what's going on with that. But then we get into the big cliffhangers for this episode with, like, Alice. She's in the sewer, and then a paper airplane comes down, and it's the newspaper of Kate Kane is missing and whatever happened to her and all that stuff. And then on the backside, there's a note from Sophia, which is going to be like the big villain of this episode, of this season. And she's kind of like a villain to Alice as well. And I couldn't tell exactly what the note said because it cut off on my TV screen. So it said consider something, and I think it was either consider 7 or consider sever or severe or severed. I'm not completely sure. So if you guys know what that said, then definitely let me know down in the comments below. But then things get creepy when Alice, she moves some stuff around in her little hideout there. And it turns out she kept Mouse's body. So we saw in season 1 that she killed Mouse, but she still has his body and talks to him. Like, as if he's still alive. And this reminds me of Riverdale. How in season 3 or 4 or something like that, I forgot her name, but she was talking to her, Cheryl. Yeah, Cheryl was talking to her dead brother. That's kind of messed up, but Alice, she is a messed up person, so we're seeing that happen here again. And then the final big cliffhanger for the episode was with Ryan, and we saw that kryptonite bullet, it actually did pierce her skin, and now she has a full-on kryptonite wound that looks like it's spreading or something. So I'm not completely sure where that's going, I assume maybe like Mary will have to try and heal her because she is like a secret underground doctor and everything, and then that will tie them together again. And then, of course, Ryan will become the new Batwoman, as we all know will happen. So, guys, that ends off the episode, and like I said, I think this was a good start to the season. There were a couple things that were like, meh, like with the Hush Tommy Elliot stuff, like with him being Bruce Wayne. I figured that would last a little longer than like one episode, because like I said, they were setting that up to be a big long season thing. But no, they just ended that off first episode. And like I said, I'm not completely sure if he's dead or not, or if he's in prison, so who knows what's going on there. And then I do honestly really like Javicia Leslie in this role. Like, she's got some good acting skills here, and I do like this character of Ryan Wilder. You can tell she has a tragic past, and I'm excited to see where they take this character in this season, and possibly even future seasons of Batwoman as well in the Arrowverse. So guys, that is pretty much it for my recap, my review and breakdown for the season premiere of Batwoman Season 2. So guys, let me know all your thoughts and theories about Batwoman Season 2 down in the comments below. And thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the DC life.